I started as the AOL chat rooms, and you're pretty much anonymous, but I kept getting like instant messages from all these men that wanted like pictures, and they wanted to send me pictures, and that's not what I wanted to do. So I put as my ASL male, and those instant messages stopped. That's how David was born, and that's why I created him.
Do you ever feel like you're a character that you've created? Dear Neighbor, my name is Rudy. I'm a 30-year-old marketing specialist from New Jersey.
Me without you is like the sun without the moon.
I'm reaching out to you because I've been talking to a 32-year-old man named Tyrell for 17 years.
No.
Am I reading that right?
It's impossible.
That's impossible.
It's preposterous.
I met Tyrell in 2004 on a teen chat room.
We stayed up till 5 a.m. talking about life.
We exchanged phone numbers that night and literally spent all night and every night for the next 5 years as landline lovers. Our relationship fizzled about 2010. I was a first year in college and he was active military stationed all over the world. In 2011, while I was home for a break, I logged into Messenger and there he was. So we started catching up.
We stayed up till 6 a.m. We did it again.
This was also our first and only attempt at video messaging, but he was completely in the dark, so I couldn't see what he looked like. In 2013, Tyrell added me on Facebook. At the time, he was living in San Diego and had a girlfriend. After his relationship ended, we started talking more and our conversations became a bit spicy and have been ever since.
I remember when he said, woo.
But every time I brought up visiting him in San Diego, he would change the subject. His pattern for excuses makes me doubt who he is, or at the very least, think that he may have a secret life and is using our distance to hide a relationship, kids, or more. But it's hard not to have love for a person that has been a fixture in my life since I was 13. If I mean as much to him as he does to me, there should be no reason for excuses or hesitation. Can you please help? Rudy, can you just take us back to the very beginning?
So we met on a teen chat room and we started talking. That night we exchanged phone numbers and we were talking on the phone that entire night.
When did you first see a picture of him?
When on his profile on the teen website.
But he's cute.
He's cute. And we talked on the phone like every night and throughout, like all throughout high school for me.
Whoa.
I know, kind of cute.
So he was your boyfriend?
Yeah.
And you say, I love you?
We were young, and we were talking on like landline, so we had a code for I love you.
Oh, what was
the code?
Code orange. It meant nothing, but it meant everything.
So you would just say code orange.
And you know what it means.
I love this.
Where were you living at the time?
I was in New Jersey.
And where was Tyrell?
South Carolina.
Okay, so you were both East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
At any point in those high school years, was there a discussion about meeting up? I mean...
Oh yeah, it was always like after, when we become adults. That's what we're gonna do.
Okay, so you guys, so then you go to college.
Mm-hmm.
Tyrell goes to the military?
Mm-hmm.
So that must have sort of put a little bit of a kink in your plans.
Yeah, he was at the time stationed in Japan, Okinawa, and our time differences were crazy, and it just had a natural like fade out.
So when did things kind of get serious again?
Around 2016, he was no longer overseas, and we actually kind of caught up
How do you guys speak now?
on Messenger and Snapchat.
So you don't have a cell phone number for him?
No.
Weird. So then you guys started talking again, and like, did it kind of pick up where it left off?
Yeah, we've been dating, and I told him my sister was a flight attendant, so I had travel benefits, and I told him twice that I'm ready to fly out.
Right.
But he'll stop saying you should come out when I'm actually taking him up on it.
Had he ever suggested coming to see you?
I've suggested it, and he said he's not coming to New Jersey. There's nothing in New Jersey.
You're in New Jersey.
Yeah, I'm in New Jersey.
I don't know if I like his attitude.
And every time you ask or try to video chat, as it becomes easier and easier and more accessible,
Yeah.
do you ever like just call him?
All the time, doesn't respond. Will respond to a voice call before he responds to a video call.
Do you think there's a chance he's not the guy in the pictures that you've seen?
I think there could be a chance.
Because why else would he avoid it? And has he offered you any explanation as to why he doesn't want to video chat?
No.
When we know he clearly can.
His explanations usually is, I can't right now, I'm busy.
Even if he's not the guy in the pictures from back then, like 2004 was like so long ago. It was like a lawless land on the internet. You
Yeah.
could do whatever you wanted to do. So like even if he was using a different picture, everybody was lying. Were you using your pictures and like
Absolutely not.
See?
He didn't know who I was until 2011.
Whoa, wait, so
I rest my case.
from when you first met, 2011, you were using pictures of someone else?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I don't know, some pictures from Google was reckless out there.
It was really a different
It was
time.
a different time. All right.
You guys hang.
Girl.
Hello?
Wait, is that him?
I'm running the other way.
How you doing?
I'm all right. Are you Tyrell?
Yeah,
Oh, you're tall.
yeah.
That's him.
What's up? Hi. How are you?
I'm doing good. How you doing? Oh, what's that?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm Cammy.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
How you doing, Tyrell?
to meet you, Tyrell.
Nice to meet you too.
You are exactly who you claim to be.
Yeah.
Feels weird, like him standing 8 feet away from me.
How are you feeling right now, standing here, looking at her, finally?
To finally meet her, awesome. I feel
Relieved?
Yes, it is relieved.
So when was this gonna happen if we didn't do this overwhelming thing?
Probably another 17 years.
Yikes.
I'm trying to figure out why that is. Because you've been back living in the States for a while.
For a while.
By the way, thank you for your service.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
But you've been living here. Rudy's offered to travel to meet you. Like, there have been, I feel like, plenty of opportunities to see and meet and, like, give it a try.
And it's always been my insecurity. Like, you know, she meet me, I ain't gonna be the dude that she like, you know.
Sure, I can understand that, but we talked to some people and it seems you've been spinning this differently to your family. Because your cousin told us that you told her that Rudy has sort of been the one that's hesitated and avoided.
I think my cousin April, she kind of got that confused.
She still thinks her name is Dice.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
I don't talk about personal stuff like life
Okay.
that much with family. Like I've always kind of wanted our relationship to be private, in a sense. Like, y'all ever had like something that you don't want your friends or anybody to know, like a toy, you're a kid, something you
You're
grab?
not making this sound
I'm not
better.
making any sense.
Yeah,
Oh
no,
my
it
God.
just doesn't sound, or it doesn't sound good.
I mean, it's messed up calling her a toy. So let me help you out here. I think I understand what you're saying, but you know, you're a grown-ass man.
Yes.
You could have found ways and times to see her privately.
Seems like she had tried before to get you guys to meet up in person. Have you been in New York City in the past 10, 12 years?
I plead the fifth.
Okay. Have you been in Atlantic City in the past 10, 12 years?
Plead the fifth. I don't know what to say.
I mean, you're not in a relationship.
No, not in a relationship.
Don't have kids.
Don't have kids.
Are you talking to anyone?
Nah, not really.
Well, do you consider yourself talking to and kind of in a thing with Rudy?
It's like her friendship is important to me. When it comes to that, I love her. You know, like
As a friend.
I feel like we've never fully gotten to a point where we could try to be together.
This is a unique and sort of very unusual situation. And I think Rudy feels like she wants to see, like, now you're both the right age and the right place in your lives to, like, finally give it a go. And I just want to know, like, is that what you think about?
It's something I have to actually dwell on. When you have like 17 years, it's really hard to like just sit there and grab it all at once, you know, of everything. And, you know, you'll think the easy answer would just be like, yeah, like, all right, Rudy, I'm taking you now, throw you in my arms. Like, you'll think it would be that easy, but it isn't. That's something I'm definitely gonna have to go deep in and like give you an actual answer.
Hey, Team Catfish. My name is Eli.
Take me as I am.
I'm a 26-year-old gamer in Wasilla, Alaska. A few months ago, I took a huge risk by packing up my life to move to Chicago. I'd been invited to come live with my friend, a female gamer that I met on PlayStation about 3 years ago, named Boulevard.
Boulevard. That's an interesting name.
Not gonna lie, I was hoping that by moving closer, things might evolve into a more romantic kind of relationship. Everyone thought I was crazy to do this because I'd never met her or even video chatted, but I believe that fortune favors the bold. So I went for it. Unfortunately, it was a complete disaster. As soon as I landed, Boulevard ghosted. I checked into a hotel, and when I didn't hear from her, I told her I was going to write to Catfish. Before I even had the chance to do that, though, she resurfaced. She claimed she'd mixed up my travel dates. She was out of town, but was going to be back soon. Every day, she'd say she was coming to meet me, but she never did. After a week, I flew back to Alaska. Oh my God,
Wow.
so he moved to Chicago and then moved back to Alaska.
That's messed up.
Crazy. So here I am, writing to see if you can help me find out if Boulevard is the real deal or if she had me spend every last dime I had to move thousands of miles for nothing. Thanks for reading, Eli. Sounds like Boulevard is bullet. What is growing up in Wasilla like?
Distant from a lot of things. You feel trapped up here the longer you're here. I mean, the mountains are nice, they're gorgeous, they're beautiful, but they surround you.
So I guess it makes sense that you got into gaming.
I started regularly playing Call of Duty. You know, I come home from work, it's what I do.
So when you're playing, you're playing with other people?
Yes.
On the
so
internet?
They're all headsetted up, microphone. We all jump into a lobby before loading up. We can all hang out in there and we can talk.
It's a chat room.
Chat room. The lobby is the hangout spot.
Okay.
When did you first meet Boulevard?
3.5, 4 years ago, my buddy, Dakota, he brought Boulevard in the chat.
Dakota. Was this a friend from
Yes, real life
Wasilla?
friend, yes.
Okay, he didn't know her in
Real
person.
life, no.
Right, okay.
No.
Okay, so your friend brings Boulevard into one of your games.
Right. She's good at the game
Got it.
and
you
she's
can
good at
hear her,
communication.
she's also talking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're hearing
Right.
her voice.
Right. And it sounds like an attractive woman. I'm intrigued.
When did you even first know what she looked like?
Shortly after I met her, she did send like a picture.
On PlayStation?
Yeah, because
That's
you
cool.
can
Wow.
send a picture. Since then, she sent more pictures. She sent me some vacation photos of her. They're very good-looking photos. I was like, hey, you were gorgeous and dangerously attractive.
Had you ever communicated with her off the game up until that point?
Yeah, yeah, we were texting at that point.
Oh, okay. So you had already established a connection outside of the game.
Yeah.
Safe to say there was a mutual attraction and interest.
Yeah, I am interested
Right.
in Boulevard highly. So I put just everything on the table. I told her, I really want to get to know you. And she immediately goes, well, do you want to move to Chicago with me? I got a place. I'm like, whoa, there's an offer on the table here. This whole fresh start. And that was so enticing to me.
Wait, so how much time between you then going to Chicago was there?
I think I planned for like 2 or 3 weeks out.
Wait, and she was on board?
Yeah. I quit the job. I texted her before I took off. I'm so excited. I'll see you at 8:30 in the morning. Once I landed, I turned my phone out of airplane mode and had nothing. A couple hours go by. I was waiting just out there where all the cars come rolling in to pick you up. I'm like, I'm standing in green zone. 3 or 4 hours goes by. I was like, I'm not gonna entertain this anymore. This is as much as I can handle. And so I find the cheapest hotel in the area. I'm in the hotel room, right? And I'm like, this is a real life episode of Catfish.
Had she responded to you at all at this point?
None. Dakota had messaged her on Facebook because they're Facebook friends.
Oh, okay.
And she reaches out to me on Messenger and she's like, holy moly, I'm so sorry. I just saw Dakota's message. I broke my phone 2 days prior.
Oh my
I thought
God.
your date.
Broke my phone?
I'm now out of state for Easter at my grandmother's.
Was it
with my
Easter?
mom. It was Easter week, yeah. It was so, I'm like, hey, I might go home. Maybe we shouldn't do this. She's like, I've just called the front desk. I paid for your next night, and they're gonna continue to charge my card until I get back. and like this big wave of relief. I'm like,
And you confirmed that had happened?
yeah, I went up to the front desk and they're like, yeah, we've got a card on file for you and you've got the next few days covered. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna be okay.
Well, that's very reassuring.
Very
Oh my
reassuring.
God. But did you ask, you were like, who paid for the room? Did you get a name?
No, that would have been ideal. But then we start playing, like, she plays with me while I'm in the hotel room.
Oh, you set your...
I set my PlayStation up, I finally get her on the chat, and I'm like, what's going on? I threw out that I emailed you guys. I hadn't done it at that point yet.
And did she have a reaction when you told her you were gonna reach out to Catfish?
Yeah, she's like, whoa, I wanna be on TV. She's like, I wanna do this.
So she was into the idea of meeting on
Completely.
Catfish.
Completely on board. And I was like, okay, well, another concerning thing.
Oh my God. Oh wait, someone's coming, someone's coming, someone's coming.
Yes. Oh, hello. How are you? I'm Neve.
Nice to meet you.
Is it Kelly?
Yeah,
All right. Are you okay? Seem
my anxiety is really high.
okay. We come in peace. This is. I don't know. Do you know who this is?
Yeah, Eli.
Yes. Okay.
Nice to meet
Kelly,
you.
very nice to meet you.
And are you Savannah's cousin? And Boulevard? Or so you're who Eli's been talking to the whole time? Okay.
I can't be out here very long. I got a 7-week-old baby inside.
Oh, I want to keep you from your baby, but why make an offer to move somebody in under the premise of somebody else?
Because I was hoping that I could come out to you a different way than this and meet you, but while you were in Chicago, I was sick. I was in the hospital because I was going through stuff when I was pregnant with my son. I didn't want it to go this far. I really didn't want to leave you out like that. I just didn't know how to tell you.
I don't know about all this.
But I gotta go. The baby, I have to go.
Okay.
I'm
well.
sorry, guys.
Can we talk again? You wanna,
Yeah.
process?
Do you think you might be able to meet us again?
Maybe tomorrow. Maybe.
Okay.
That was not her.
Wait,
That's not who I've been playing with. Put her on a mic.
what do you mean that's not her
That's
voice?
not the voice.
Wait. What?
That's not who I've been playing with.
Hi. You're already out here.
So I'm gonna start off by saying it's not me.
It's not you. I knew it wasn't you the minute you opened your mouth.
Who has Eli been talking to?
My aunt.
Your aunt. Phyllis.
This whole time.
Oh my God.
Okay. And Phyllis's daughter is Savannah, the girl whose pictures he thought was Boulevard.
Oh, man.
I'm so sorry that you got caught up with her.
Why would you come out?
She offered me money to do it. I am a single mother of 2. I needed the money.
Wow.
And Savannah knows that Phyllis games.
I think so. Yes,
And is
absolutely.
talking to these guys and sending them
I
money.
don't know. I don't know what Savannah knows.
Where are they now? Oh, they're inside.
I'm pretty sure Savannah is.
Did you tell her we were coming here today?
Yeah, kind of.
Can we talk to her?
I mean, we gotta try.
Make it happen.
Okay. Hey.
Hi.
Well, hello.
What are you doing here?
Wait,
You know?
Eli?
I mean, we play with each other on PlayStation. Oh. It's nice to put a face to, the profile.
So you talked to Eli on PlayStation?
I have before. We're in a chat with each other.
Oh, she's playing it off as her now.
I'm not playing it off as anything. I do play PlayStation with him.
Okay, great. Sorry, we didn't get a chance to sort of.
Yeah, we're coming up hot here with a lot of people.
We're
but-
just here to listen and find out what's going on. So, just to be clear, you're saying over the past few years, you've played on the game and it's been you and your voice.
And my mom's too.
You and your mom
Right.
have shared the sort of Boulevard.
The same account.
How many of the chats have been you?
Probably a lot. More than half of them.
Okay. Does this sound like the person you've been talking to?
Yeah?
Yes.
That's nice to know.
But when your mom's on the game, Eli would be hearing her voice. Do you guys have similar voices?
I mean, have you ever asked who else you were playing with?
No, I never
Log
had
in.
a hankering that it might have been multiple people. Sounds like the same person.
Well, I guess the big question is, did you ever find yourself feeling like that Eli was cool and that you were into him?
As a friend?
Just as a friend?
Right, because I never knew him. I don't understand how he moved from Alaska to move down here. We joked about that. I didn't expect someone to actually pack all their stuff to come to where I live. I live with my mom. I don't even live by myself.
Moving down here, it wasn't just a split decision for me.
He didn't just show up and knock on the door. He did say, I think I'm gonna actually come. He did buy a ticket, sent a receipt.
I didn't know you bought a ticket.
So your mom, I guess, knew.
I don't think my mom knew either.
Well, someone...
Somebody paid for 2 or 3 nights of a hotel.
My mom didn't put anyone up in a hotel.
Well, how do you know that she didn't?
The funds.
As far as you know, your mom doesn't have
No,
extra money.
absolutely not.
Okay, wait. Someone is also
Well, no,
sending
but-
thousands
but-
of dollars to
right.
another gamer.
That's
Someone,
what I'm
like,
interested in.
and if you guys are both saying it's not you, then the only other person it could be is your mom.
It's hard for me to believe that she did all this. If she was doing something like that, I think I would know.
Well, I guess the big question is your mom here?
She's not here right now.
Okay, because clearly some or all of this could be cleared up if
Yeah, I
she were
understand
here
that.
to defend
I'm
herself.
also
or,
confused as well.
Right.
I could try to give her a call.
That would be great. Hey, Phyllis, it's Neve.
I don't know who you are. I don't even know what you guys are doing and why.
So I'm from a TV show called Catfish, and I'm trying to help a guy named Eli, who I guess was talking to you and Savannah on PlayStation. We're just trying to give everyone an opportunity to explain what's going on. We're, as you can imagine, very confused, and we don't want anyone to not be here to defend themselves.
This is weird and I don't know what's going on. Can you explain a little more, Savannah?
Here.
The way Kelly's trying to put me out to be is that I guess I knew that you were using my profile.
Are you talking about your cousin, Kelly?
Yeah.
Kelly said that you offered to pay her to take the blame and say it was her the whole time, but Eli very quickly could tell it wasn't her because her voice doesn't sound like you and or your daughter's voice.
I don't associate with Kelly. I had to kick her out of my house.
I don't know if I should or shouldn't believe Kelly. I don't know if I should or shouldn't believe Savannah.
The person you're dealing with, Kelly, is a con artist. About 6 months ago, Kelly set up an account under Savannah's name and was making money off that account. I get the account removed from Instagram and we almost pressed charges on her.
Okay, well, that's good information. You think she could have just been on your phone messaging without you seeing that?
It's a possibility. I have my laptop too, which have the same messages
All right.
connected to my iCloud.
Right. Got it.
She could have been texting him.
That makes sense, Savannah. For 5 years, we've never had an issue with something like this when they came until Kelly moved in.
So you're suggesting that for the past 6 months, Kelly was leading him on to come to Chicago for what?
She's a very extremely odd person, and she does dumb shit.
So where is Phyllis? She's on the phone?
Yeah. I can only imagine what she's saying in there about me.
I mean, look, it doesn't make sense that any of you would have told him to come to Chicago and then paid for his hotel room. The only thing that points the finger more at you than anyone else is I don't think your daughter or Kelly have any money. And of the three of you, you probably are the most likely to have money.
My boyfriend would not be okay with that. We share a bank account. We would flip the up.
All right, well, look, Phyllis, I don't think I'm ever gonna really know what's going on. Unless someone's story changes, we're just gonna have to leave it kind of a mystery. But if it has been you this whole time, cut it out. Because you're confusing a lot of people and creating a lot of drama. And if it's not you, great. And just please, go on with your life. And I'm sorry that we dragged you into this.
Yeah, I appreciate you too. Be safe.
Okay,
Take care.
bye. Got an email here. Subject of the email is 20 years of longing. And it's from Mother Wolf, PA, which I assume is Pennsylvania, but is Mother Wolf a place or a person?
That's my mom.
Oh my God, wait a second.
my mother.
Is there a mother character in Teen Wolf? Okay. Hello, my name is June, but I go by Mother Wolf. I am a 53-year-old freelance dog sitter. I have 5 kids and 9 grandkids.
Damn.
And I've been in an on-again, off-again online relationship with a man named David.
I know we will manage if we just try.
He's in Orlando, and I'm in York, Pennsylvania. I met him 20 years ago in an AOL chat room where he went as Warlock.
Oh, wow.
We can write our own story. We can make our own glory.
He was comforting and kind, but when I first heard his voice, it drove me wild. It's deep and husky. It still gives me chills down my spine. Over the years, even when we began to become more distant and contact wouldn't happen for months at a time, he would send a message and we would catch up with how our lives were going.
Got a friend in you, and you
He became so much a part of my daughter's and my life, even from far away. He was there for me through many hard times and my evolution from solitary witch to Satanist. Wow, this is fascinating.
This is juicy.
He always seemed to feel me and hear me as I would speak his name on the night winds. Over this 20 years, there was constantly talk of meeting in person. For one reason or another, it hasn't happened. Now, more than ever, I want him. I need him. Could you please finally help me put a solid face and presence to someone I've cared deeply about for so long?
we can show the world
Sincerely, June,
how to love one
AKA Mother Wolf. I'm so very curious.
Uh-huh.
You used to be
In a coven? You
in a,
said?
well, yeah,
Or no.
you were an independent witch. Wait, what'd you call
30
it?
plus
Okay.
years I was conservative Baptist.
Got it.
And then in my early 30s, I dedicated into solitary witchcraft.
Can you give me some background as to what it means when you say practice witchcraft?
With witchcraft, we look at it as we manifest our desires by speaking it on the wind and with our works.
Can you give me an example? What, if any, spells have you attempted to use in regards to David? Can you inspire him to
Yes, we actually, it's called speaking on the wind. We had went without talking for a while, and my mama passed away, and I had no way to reach him. He wasn't answering his messages, and I put the window up, and I sat there and I called out to him. I said, I need you. And we do this little thing where it's like a little howl.
Like a howl, like kind of like a wolf.
A real, yeah.
A mini
It's just
version
a
of it
real
for me?
light, ooh. And he called me 30 minutes later. He said, I heard you.
He
wild.
said that. He was like,
Yeah.
I felt like I needed
He
to.
said, I heard you.
And is he versed in any of this kind of stuff that
Yes.
you do as well? Okay.
In fact, when we had met, it was a chat room called Virtual Magic. I saw his name and it caught my attention. His name was Warlock. And it just, I don't know, something about it clicked to me. I just kept watching him. And we got to talking and it just took off from there. And we would just talk and talk. And then next thing I knew, he had my phone number and we were talking on the phone and we were talking all the time, hours on the phone.
You mentioned in your email how much you love his voice.
Yes, his voice was always kind of smooth, very calming, and I would relax instantly. Now, the only place I hear from him is through Messenger, but it was just really nice, and he was just always right there. He spent a lot of time talking to us, me and my kids. He became very close. It was so surprising that, this is someone that's miles and miles away, and it's like if I needed something, I could just pick up the phone and call him. If my girls had a bad time at school, he talked to them about it. We talked every day. But he would disappear for months at a time, or I wouldn't hear from him. But he always seemed to feel when I was having a crisis. He'd be gone for like 3, 4, maybe 5 months. I wouldn't hear anything. And then
something would be going on that just had me a little stressed out, and I'd hear from him during some of the hardest times in my life. He's there.
I mean, there's a light on, but. Oh, Jesus. Hello.
Hey.
Hi. How you doing?
I'm all right.
Neve.
Dave.
David. All right, nice to meet you.
Hi.
Hey.
This is June, or Mother Wolf as you know her.
So how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I don't know what to say. It's been a long time coming, but I'm here, so.
Well, you look really, really nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You don't look so bad yourself.
You guys mind if we just jump in for a minute?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Clearly you're not the person in the photos that you sent, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I know.
Is that essentially what's been keeping you from showing your true self all these years and meeting up?
Yeah, I guess so.
And it's been you and only you talking to her this whole time, right? Yeah. Well, now that the cat's out of the bag, do you feel more comfortable with the idea of us finally bringing you together?
I mean, I'm glad you're here, you know. I've always wanted to, like, meet up with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you know you always have my heart.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Why have you been so elusive? I mean, you're not the person in the photos, but surely you have a phone, right?
I really don't use my phone like that.
Forgive me for asking some kind of standard questions here, but are you in a relationship?
No, no.
Well, I guess the question I have is, I understand years and years ago you sent her a picture that wasn't you.
Yeah.
But has there been any other meaningful information that you feel you were keeping from her, that you never shared with her, that you lied about?
All right, before I tell you, just know that everything I said was the truth.
Okay.
Always love you. But I'm not really David.
Okay.
David was someone I just made up. But when I am David, I mean every word I say. Actually, I'm Denise.
And I just basically role play David.
Okay, so let me get this straight. So in all of your conversations and communication with June, you were playing the David character.
Yeah.
So in your day-to-day life, people know you as Denise?
Yeah. But let me tell you something. David loves June, 100%. And when I'm portraying David, okay, I become David.
Yeah.
So when I play David,
He loves you, okay?
So then, as Denise, do you have any interest in a relationship with Mother Wolf?
Or is that exclusive to your character of David?
It's just with David.
So
Just
in your
with David.
day-to-day life as Denise, you don't imagine your friendship and relationship?
No.
No, okay. I mean, it's definitely weird. This is a first for us, that someone would be talking to someone who has essentially sort of two versions of themselves.
Right. Because when I play David, I become David.
and then when I'm Denise, then I'm totally, completely opposite. You know, when I'm with Denise, I don't like women. I do not dress like this.
Got it.
No, only David does.
And Dave's a good guy. He really is.
Yeah,
He's a good guy and he loves you.
Definitely is.
He completely loves you.
Well, Dave may be a good guy, and I believe that, but he's been not totally honest and sort of led her on for a long time.
Right.
Well, here's a weird question.
Yeah.
As David, you are attracted to women.
Yeah.
And when you're David and you're talking to June, do you feel a sexual desire?
Yeah, as Dave.
So, is there any interest from David to pursue any kind of romantic relationship with June?
Of course.
Oh, there is? Okay.
20 years in the making, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, look at her, she's beautiful.
Well, got a lot of questions, but I just want to make sure that I'm clear on everything that you told us yesterday. When you think about yourself as Denise, that is who you are.
Right, that's who I am. I have
That's your authentic, true self.
Right.
When you think about David, do you think of David as a character that you created that represents perhaps some of your feelings and interests?
I mean, David is a character all his own. I mean, when it's like playing a part in a movie. You become the person that you're portraying. So when I role play as being David, I became David.
Sure, but when you're David, do you love June as David, or do you feel that across Denise?
As Denise, I'm not attracted to women at all.
And when you started portraying David, when you came up with the idea for the character of David, what was kind of your beginning interest in doing that? What was the draw?
Well, I started as the AOL chatrooms, and you're pretty much anonymous, but I kept getting like instant messages from all these men that wanted like pictures, and they wanted to send me pictures, and that's not what I wanted to do. So I put as my ASL male, and those instant messages stopped.
Right.
That's how David was born, and that's why I created him.
And so you didn't create the character because you were looking to role play as a man.
Right.
You weren't trying to explore gender fluidity for yourself.
Exactly. My gender identity as Denise is I'm female, and I like men.
And so what does that mean for David?
I don't know.
Is David dying off?
I mean, I don't see the sense in keeping him.
What about June? I mean, yesterday, you were saying that David loves June.
I mean that part is true. David loves June.
But not
Always
enough
has.
to keep David around.
I wouldn't want that anyways. If it's not real, I don't want it. Even though I know David was made up, it's like losing a friend of 20 years, but even though it's not a real person, it feels like it is, you know? The bigger part of me wants to say thank you for the support over the years, and the other part says I'll see you in hell.